Previously on Idle Thumbs.
It's December 23rd, 2008.
And this is Idle Thumbs 11.
Hot scoops. Your mic is going to make mic farting noises.
I'm getting dots.
So you were saying you saw a thing about a blog and then you blogged about it? What do you think about that, Scoops?
They call you Scoops.
You do a trick combo on a ghost.
You grind the ghost.
Off of a ghost onto a poltergeist. Do an ollie onto the fucking boogeyman.
That was the sound of a hot scoop being delivered.
What the hell does Orange Whip mean?
You know what the problem with video game journalism is?
It's hot scoops.
A fucking Minotaur.
Holy shit.
Far Cry 2.
I was at Best Buy, and it was like a Guitar Hero World Tour warehouse. Yeah. That happened to be selling camcorders.
Hey, Scoops.
Hey, Scoops.
It just keeps going.
Far Cry 2.
Oh, fuck it.
Shit!
God damn it.
Hot scoops.
You're seeing goatsy.
We're just going to let that one slide, I guess.
Everything to me is a goatsy.
Wavy lines appear and something turns into a guy with a prolapsed anus.
Will blow you away.
Jesus.
Yeah. Snappy gamer.
Snap, snap.
Whoa! And a duck call is also present. We have replaced Steve with Dr. Spatzo laughing.
Alright, I'm going to use a seg here. Check it.
One of the things I do really enjoy just generally is game mechanics that are really accepted, sort of translating them into more literal versions of what they are. Sort of.
Is it next week yet right now?
No.
No.
Okay.
More next week.
And now the exciting conclusion of Idle Thumbs 11.
This is Idle Thumbs 11-2, and I'm Chris Remo.
I'm Jake Rodkin.
And we are still joined by Steve Gaynor, who joined us last week and is still
and continues to join
here.
us.
This was recorded 2 weeks ago at this point. I
So
think.
yeah, Chris, I believe you left us hanging last week with some sort of information.
Yeah, this is not actually exciting at all. I was just going to say,
Good thing you didn't reveal that until now.
I didn't originally intend for it to be like
We're
a week
still
long.
hanging off of the cliff. They're still dangling from the cliff. Save them.
Who?
The readers who were involved with
This
the
is
cliffhanger.
go. Do it. I want to know this fact.
It's not okay. So basically, I was just saying, I really like when mechanics that are sort of accepted as just sort of par for the course and a given in games. I like just the idea of sort of completely subverting them in weird ways. Actually, some games actually do that sort of, or just make them more apparent. Like in God Hand, the fact that when you kill a dude, sometimes he will actually turn into like a 3D rendering of a fruit. Like to me, that's, I don't know.
Yeah,
I really,
a giant Pac-Man fruit.
Exactly. Like an actual like set of cherries or whatever.
Yeah.
But I remember Jake and I used to always talk about sort of the implication of Half-Life, that Gordon Freeman might in fact just be sort of a really weird, like sociopathic mute killer who only like who has no sense of sort of like moral consideration of any kind.
Gordon Freeman
like,
is basically actually just like Jason Voorhees.
Right, exactly. Like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, he goes around, he doesn't say a word to anybody.
Right, that guy's
He's
clearly just fucking
down.
covered in blood the entire game. You can't see yourself. It's like, oh, there's Gordon Freeman. Don't have much to say, do you? He's just always holding weaponry. Just, I don't know.
He comes up to someone, he's holding a fucking bloody crowbar. Probably has guts and shit on it. Like, he just beat people in the fucking skull for like 4 hours.
They're just like, hey, Gordon!
Well, they don't want to piss him off.
Right. Hey,
This
Gordon,
guy, like,
no.
this guy comes up,
Right.
you're like, oh, hey, Gordon. How's it going?
In episode 3, the source engine will up its fidelity to the point that you can actually see the beads of sort of nervous sweat and the fear in the eyes.
It's like an EA Sports game when
It's right, the weird, super sweaty football guy, the rubber mask Uncanny Valley guy. Yeah, it's gonna be weird. Half-Life 2 episode 3 is gonna fucking blow you away. IGN.com.
Yeah, but, and I don't know. I mean, who the fuck is this guy? Like, you go through these games, you have essentially no agency or free will. Like, you're entirely...
He's a hero, Chris. He's an American hero.
I guess he is.
He's a object of love interest's desire.
Yeah. Well, that makes it way creepier. She fawns all over this fucking fucked up, killing, like, psychopath.
Oh, Gordon, you just got out of this radioactive canal where you just beat up 300 zombies. Like,
you're dripping in radioactive waste.
Right.
Like,
I just want to stand near you. Apparently.
It's so dreamy how you pin that guy to the wall with a red hot bar of rebar.
Safe place is probably behind him, so.
Yeah, that's true.
And yet she runs around with her auto pistol, unlocking doors with a laser right in front of my crosshairs. I forget, it's been a really long time. Can you even hurt her at all? Or
No, he will lower his crosshairs for her.
But if you press the button, does it shoot a bullet
Man,
at
that's
her?
like the crazy psycho killer who has like a dog that he really loves or something that he like won't hurt.
Whoa.
You know, but he'll
little
just
misogyny from
he'll
Chris
just-
Remo of Gamasutra.com there.
Yeah, well,
Well, no, it could also be a lady.
it could be like a, you know,
Talking equivalents here? What's up with you guys?
just saying. You know, Gordon Freeman might actually be completely fucking
He doesn't.
crazy.
He doesn't know what Alex Vance is. He's
Yeah,
just a sort of
right.
He
This
doesn't
guy-
understand.
this
he
guy's
might
brain
think
is
that
warped.
he is
Like-
some animal.
I mean, she might look like a shimmering, you know, like
It's
vision of-
a form that stops moving when he does what he wants to it.
Oh my god.
I like that you of crossing lines.
That's what a true sociopathic like murderer is. It's like, oh, there's something that's moving around. I think I'll cut part of it off because it's not a real thing to me. And that's your vision of Gordon Freeman.
I guess it is. I guess you're
via
right.
his voiceless blood covered.
So I hope you're listening, Valve.
Yeah, I actually really like the Half-Life games. I think Steve's not as big a fan. But
I mean, they're well done. They're just, you know, super linear.
Yeah.
It's like any really linear focus game where I see it as actually kind of being a risk to do a very, very particularly authored game, because it's like, well, the people who like it are going to be on board, but if you don't like the very exact thing that the designer is making you do, then you're just going to sign out. Whereas if a player has more agency, they have more freedom to make their own fun out of the game that you've given them, you know? Like, oh, I'm not really into the story of Gordon and Alex and the super portal and everything. Well, then you're not going to like this game whatsoever, because all you get to do is kind of run forward through these rooms and see that story, you know?
Unless you're me.
Well, no, but I mean, if you're psyched on it, then it's perfect.
I mean, as much as I like games that give you the opportunity to do lots of stuff and are super high agency, I really don't mind basically sitting next to a game designer and saying, "Tell me a story," and I will sort of help play through it. Like,
yeah, but I mean, it assumes
you're right.
that
If you don't like the story, but that said, if you don't like the systems present in an open world game, you're not gonna enjoy to create your own story any more than if you don't like the crazy Half-Life thing. Whoo!
I guess, but I mean, like, and
in summation,
a linear authored story has a whole lot less, you know, a lot less play to it than a system that you kind of put inputs into it and stuff happens, you know. Like, systems are reactive, whereas a story is static. And so if you really like that static thing, and obviously a whole lot of people like the one object of entertainment that the Half-Life series gives them, then that's cool. But if you don't like the story in GTA, you can still like the open world going crazy stuff and enjoy the game.
I think it's a fair point, and I think that is one of the downfalls of the Half-Life 2 and episodes, is that they do more so, I think, than Half-Life 1 feel very controlled in that respect. But I will say the thing that I like about the Half-Life games, and I love them, and I think they've been getting better since Half-Life 2, to the point that I think Half-Life 2 Episode 2 is the best one in the Half-Life 2 series. But I will say the thing that because it's different, you know, it's different.
Yeah.
You looked pained when I said that.
It's just a goofy thing. The Half-Life 2
Well, what am I
series.
supposed
It is
to
a
call-
series.
what
No,
am I
you're right.
I mean,
it's just goofy.
It is kind of goofy. Whatever, I don't care.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah. So
Out of Thumbs 11 2.
Yeah.
yeah, I like the Out of Thumbs 11 series.
Yeah.
Way better.
There are no
than-
innocents here.
Yeah.
Look what we've done.
So, but I will say the thing that I like about the Half-Life games is they sort of explore a different thing about games that I like, which is less about sort of your own sense of agency and kind of impact on a world, and more sort of just the entirely purely video game thing, like nothing to do with sort of the idea of a game as it's traditionally existed, but purely the video game notion of allowing the player to sort of just exist in a narrative that continues in the same sense that you might in a film or sort of a book or something. But we're doing this in a way that we have to do things that create that illusion of you being funneled along, like without.
Did you say you being fondled along?
Funneled.
Okay.
But fondled too.
It sounded like there was a D.
There's a game designer sitting next to you, fondling you. Or not. Okay.
That's the situation that Nick's in right now.
Well played. Steve just fondled him a bit. It was pretty good. Yeah.
Anyway,
and I was just going to say, I like all the stuff that Valve does where you can, if you're not sort of explicitly looking for it, you don't notice, but when you do start explicitly looking for it, you notice the little things they try to do that draw your attention in a specific way, sort of just little things that will happen in the corner of sort of the screen that cause you to look around and then see an interesting thing that happens. Obviously, that's all scripted, but it's stuff that's sort of a specific aspect of level design and scripting, I guess, that is sort of more particular to a more on-rails game.
It is kind of the stuff we were talking about a couple weeks ago when Chuck Jordan was on the show, but it is... those Valve games are basically taking a lot of the same stuff that they do to make you look at the right way on Pirates of the Caribbean or whatever.
That's true.
I mean, the Half-Life games are, in a way, like the most extreme theme park rides ever.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
Yeah.
Sort of, yeah.
And, I don't know.
Yeah. No, I agree.
That's one of the things that I like about those games, is that it is just a corridor of narrative that you progress down.
And I mean, it can use a lot of techniques from film a lot more directly than some other kinds of games can, because if you can assume a lot about sort of what's going to be on the player's screen at any one time, you can do stuff like, and sort of in this area we're going to put something that makes you look up and to the right,
Yeah, they do a good job of making you feel like you're the person who's doing it, though.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
And it's funny actually that this comes up. I guess this might be a little out of date now, Left 4 Dead, because it's been out for, I don't know, a month now or so. But
like a month and a half.
Nobody plays multiplayer games for more than a month.
Well, that's sort of true. You'd think by looking at server counts these days. But I mean, not Left 4 Dead
back
specifically.
Back in my
but,
day.
Well,
for Left 4 Dead?
No, I'm not talking about Left 4 Dead. I'm just saying generally, like a lot of multiplayer.
No one plays that shit anymore.
Fuck you.
World of Warcraft.
Like Team Fortress, nobody plays that. Like Warcraft, nobody plays.
Listen to your fucking face.
I'm just saying,
Wow.
The
you have
overwhelming.
So much contempt for
No, it's true. Like Halo.
Yeah.
God damn you.
Fucking Call of Duty.
Right.
Call of what?
Anyway.
What?
I bet there's less people playing SOCOM now than used to.
Yeah.
But no, I know what you mean. If it isn't a game that's a like super AAA multiplayer game, it dies off quick. Well, that's not always true.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of sort of smaller games that get released from independent developers that if you're an independent developer and you make a multiplayer game that doesn't turn into Counter-Strike, pretty much nobody's ever going to play it.
There's a lot of larger
TF2
games.
is a great game,
Yeah,
but
I
the
know.
community for that is I mean, there's less people playing it all the time.
Yeah.
Every day.
And like Far Cry 2, not that that's a multiplayer game that I was...
Sorry, I want to make a PSA about that
work.
now.
Yeah.
But like, just on another note, like there are a lot of games like where people do put in a lot of time and money into the multiplayer, and I kind of wonder why. Not because it's not necessarily good, but because it's not going to stick around. Like Crysis was like that. Far Cry 2. I remember Nick and I talked to the multiplayer designer in that game, and it's like it's cool that they gave you a team and like a budget to do
this. Is that really
but,
just so there's a huge bullet on the back of the box, and so that the cover says live multiplayer? I mean,
but does that really? Do you really need? I think games
that
like
that is.
Yeah, I mean, like sweet. Yeah, I mean, I think
that you'll probably see things like, I don't know, like when the executives go back and look at something like Mirror's Edge, and they'll say, well, what was missing? I think that might be like one assumption that they could.
Yeah, but there's this like abstract the abstract concept of multiplayer for a lot of players is sort of a buy or don't buy issue. Where it's sort of like, I would have bought it.
That seems so outdated to me now.
It didn't have multiplayer, so I didn't want to buy it because I would just finish it.
I guess
and never play it again.
It seems like, especially with
does it have multiplayer?
With live around, it seems like that would be a thing that people would. But even if they're never going to use that.
IGN, you're like automatically you get like more than 5 points on the replay value just because there's multiplayer.
That's a good point.
It actually does guarantee that your score will go up.
Yeah. That's horrifying, but true. Yeah,
no, I mean,
a good component.
I know what you mean because there are some games where it's like, wait, multiplayer, really? Like, I mean, and I don't know. I mean. So, I don't know because I don't know what it is because it's practically the same risk as making a single player game. Like in any situation, it's sort of like you try to make something you hope lots of people want to play, see if it happens or not. Like for games that don't catch on, or
you're guaranteed to be making 2 games rather than just one.
Right,
that's still going to be more expensive, and you're still going to charge the same price for it.
Yeah, well,
it just seems to me like.
But I mean, like a good,
so many half-assed multiplayer,
and a lot of games that are even known for their single player campaign are actually designed as multiplayer games first, and then they make a single player campaign out of it. Like in some ways, it's actually lower impact to make the multiplayer the focus of your project,
just as sort of a gameplay prototype type of thing.
Well, as far as like this is what all our mechanics are going to be,
right?
And we'll end up with a good suite of mechanics that are useful for having interesting multiplayer matches. Oh, and then we can make a bunch of boxes with AIs in it, and you can use those mechanics against them. We put some story in it. Now we got a single player game. So I mean, I think when you plan it out right, it's not sort of like let's just make 2 completely separate things. It's twice the work, and nobody might play them all.
I feel like the common business model these days
it really
seems to be like there are actually 2 teams. Like at Ubisoft, they take that to the literal extreme and literally develop the multiplayer in a different location.
It's true. Yeah, and I mean, but I don't know. I think that a lot of times, really, from what I've noticed, the really successful multiplayer games are
the good ones.
Yeah. No, but they're developed like I don't know, like as far as I'm aware, stuff like Gears of War and Halo and Call of Duty 4. Their initial design is the multiplayer, and then the same team that designed the multiplayer makes a single player.
That's true, and I mean, and then obviously the other really successful ones are the ones that are purely multiplayer. But anyway, this is funny because this wasn't even actually my point that I was originally talking about. I got sidetracked by Jake. But the thing that I was going to talk about was Left 4 Dead.
Noise
was
sounds.
Now I forget again.
Left 4 Dead?
Oh yeah, Left 4 Dead. So
was that game with zombies in it?
It's I think it has a zombie in it. Yeah, like a lot of them.
That time ago.
I know it's like a million years.
I like that game.
Yeah, the multiplayer was good.
Yeah.
I shot a zombie in it, I think. Wait, was that game? It's been so long. Sorry.
God damn all of you.
So no, seriously, Left 4 Dead is a game.
It's a game, I think. And so the thing I was going to bring up is that going from sort of just the discussion on Half-Life in regards to sort of what you were saying about it being more possible, obviously, to use film-like techniques when you're in that sort of on-rails kind of theme park-like experience. The interesting thing about Left 4 Dead is when I first went up to Valve to play that game, which was, I think, 2006, like might have been early 2007, I don't really remember. The way they were kind of describing it to me was they're so accustomed as Valve to making games like that, where they do have a lot, they have a lot of knowledge at any given time of where the player is, what the player's doing, basically the direction the player's going in, or at least a fairly small space they could be in. And when they make a multiplayer game, like, for example, Team Fortress 2, which is what they were deep in development in at the time, they're talking about how much harder it is from sort of a just conceptual standpoint, moving from sort of that single player thing to that multiplayer thing. It's just a very different type of design, especially geographically and sort of in levels and so forth. And they were sort of discussing ways to make it sort of allow them to carry some of those single player skills over. And a lot of that was what resulted in Team Fortress 2's sort of the level system with the checkpoints, where the level kind of contracts and kind of shifts, and they try to sort of direct the flow of the game in different ways depending on which team is doing better and so forth like that. Like a lot of that came out of trying to sort of grab some of that momentum you get in their single player games, where you're always kind of being quickly encouraged to keep the pace up.
Yeah. And
then Left 4 Dead was like sort of trying to push that even further.
Yeah, it was like clearly another evolution of that.
Right, exactly. Where they have like an actual AI director that very explicitly tries to simulate the idea of having sort of a knowledgeable entity there that knows where you are and is trying to react to what you do and create an experience that essentially has that same effect.
Yeah,
which is really interesting.
It's trying to judge how to make games that have sort of the same impact as a single player scripted sequence, but sort of based on the individual multiplayer's position and what's happened recently and stuff like that. It's impressive how it works because you do start to feel like the director is an entity in the world.
Like out to
it
get
makes you not want to look down like the alley that's slightly off the path because like they're gonna see me know that there's see that there's nothing there, and then when I turn around it's gonna rape me through that hole that I just looked in. Oh my!
Wow.
Left 4 Dead.
Go get raped
rape you through a hole.
Wow, we've all said it.
IGN.com. In like 15 years, when just like the general populace's vernacular is just like, a few more degrees more vulgar than it already is, like that's what it'll say on the front of the box. This game's gonna rape you through the hole. IGN.com. Like fuck blowing your head off or whatever they said.
Are you implying that IGN.com will be around in 15 years?
Well, they're News Corp.
They've probably been around for 10 years now.
Oh, yeah, they have. Jeez. I think they were 97 or 98.
Yeah. Wow. That's weird to think of a website having been around for 25 years.
Yeah. Someday that will be true.
Yeah. Idlethumb's 25th anniversary.
We're actually recording that podcast right now in advance because we're probably going to be out of town that week. So
podcasting advance.
Yeah. Recording the next 30,000 podcasts tonight. It'll be sweet.
That's sure what it feels like.
I hope this podcast isn't just dismally out of date. Like, wouldn't it suck if like Electronic Arts went out of business, like the government didn't bail them out or whatever? Like
wait,
last
is that
week?
part of the economic stimulus package?
Yeah. Madden.
Well, yeah.
The Madden.
Activision Blizzard, like
John Madden.
The server
John Madden himself is bailed out.
The World of Warcraft server shut down, and
I'm down in here.
I'm pretty sure that happened.
I think it might have happened. So that was crazy. I mean,
do you want to predict some things that might happen over the next 2 weeks?
Some things, yeah. So what do you think happened?
Yep.
I think there will be a new video of a cute dog uploaded to the internet between now and then.
Oh man, could be.
Yeah, watch the internet for that.
Yeah,
refresh your web pages to see if that happens.
That reminds me, Nick, you were going to talk about some machinima thing, machinima.
Yeah, I guess.
Machinimi?
Machamina.
Machinimook?
Play in a Zelda game?
That was that dance.
Hey, Machamina.
I predict in 15 years there will be a dance called the Machinima. Everyone is like really stilted.
Yeah, they'll perform it at like the Democratic National Convention.
Howard Dean.
Or was it the Republicans? I don't remember who did that. Someone did the Macarena.
Wait, what?
They did the Macarena at a convention?
Yeah, it was really sad.
When was this?
When it was the thing that people
did.
In
2000 or something?
It was like 96.
96? Yeah, that makes sense. Maybe Dole did it. I would not be surprised if Dole.
Probably Dole. Yeah. Check your YouTube.
I want to see that video.
Check your local YouTube.
Holy shit.
So anyway, it's like I'm watching Conan
Didn't he do a
O'Brien
backflip in a
12 years
Viagra
ago.
commercial one time or something?
He did a Viagra
It was Wire
commercial.
Fu.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He did. It was after the election.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
That's not all he needed.
Man.
Anyway.
We've replaced the regular Idle Thumbs cast with Jay Leno. Let's see if anyone notices.
Still
I heard there was a funny headline in a nursepaper. Did you guys see that? It was
fuck
hilarious.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it will rape you through a hole. We've replaced you with Jay Leno from 2025.
So guys,
he's a weird
see
robot.
This headline today? It'll rape you through a hole. Hey. Oh, what a funny guy. Anyway, you have a story,
robot
right?
inhabiting Jay Leno's skin. He died 15 years earlier.
It's his severed Futurama head.
Yes.
Isn't that guy retiring like next year or something?
I thought he was retiring to like a daily.
No,
what the fuck are we talking about?
He's going to be on before Conan.
Don't you like video games?
Well, still. Yeah, video games. Yeah.
Talk about in-engine developed cinema. Wait, what?
Speaking of Futurama, like Machinima.com, they got like a $3.5 million investment. This is
from who?
This is a site that just does.
Who would invest all that money in Machinimu?
I have no idea. It's
recording videos inside your video games is the future.
Yeah.
Wait, do you know who invested? Was it venture capital?
It was venture capital.
Because those guys are sometimes dumb.
Yeah.
With their dollars.
Yeah. So they took that money and now they hired 15 various comedy writers.
Like Jay Leno?
No, like Mike Rowe, who is the guy from
QVC?
Yeah, the QVC guy. Well,
what?
Now he does the anyway.
The hell? What?
What does he do now?
What is a QVC guy?
Like
I mean, I
this-
know what QVC is.
He does,
It's
like,
home
that
shopping.
Dirty Job show on Discovery now.
I don't know
or
what that
something,
is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but he was on QVC and he used to make fun of all the products and
Oh.
hilarious videos you can watch.
Oh, okay.
Anyway,
on
that
the
was
internet,
one of them.
on YouTube.
Now the other 14 guys are just like TV writers and like they were on The Simpsons and Family Guy and stuff like that. And so now they're,
What games are they going to use?
I don't know, probably World of Warcraft.
Like you're going to have a dude who wrote for Futurama, like
doing like
have a little Master Chief dancing around.
Well, I
like
guess
that
the way
seems
it was built
retarded.
is the
Gary's
writers
Mod?
are going to write it, and then the Machinima.com
Is it Gary's
going
Mod?
to actually produce everything else.
Oh.
So it's like their script, and then they're going to do. So it could turn out like really horrible.
Why would you do that?
Hey, Masha Mina.
It will still be voice acted by members of their forum. Yeah, you can
That
submit
seems
that one,
like
Steve.
World of Warcraft
I mean,
characters.
there might
doing
be
the
something that
Macarena.
I'm
There's a Macarena dance.
there might be something I'm missing about
Oh, Jesus.
Makini Ma, but like it seems to me that
What'd
the
you say?
main
Bucky Mom?
Makina Ma.
Oh,
It seems
Jesus.
it seems to me the main sort of purpose of it is to allow people who have absolutely no access to sort of real, like professional animation or sort of the ability to hand
It's an
animate
amateur
something.
thing.
Like, yeah, so that they can do a funny thing, or they can make jokes about a specific game that people who have played the game will get. What's the point of having someone who has
think-
professionally written for a network syndicated television show to do
From the
that?
press release, it's pretty clear what they think. They think this is a way to like tap into this demographic. By
What, like the
putting-
20,000
they're
people on the
looking at
internet who
South
watch?
Park
Right, I mean, it's like,
episode
do you-
and they're going, oh, that was popular, so let's
That wasn't
now-
Machinima. That was like actual South Park.
Well, like,
with
that's
a
why-
little Mickey
like Red
Mouse,
versus
yeah.
Blue.
Yeah, I mean, Red versus Blue
Rooster
seems to
Teeth.
me like a very sort of specific thing where it's like we're specifically joking around with Halo.
But
You know,
like,
like
you liked that video maybe as either you, Chris Remo, or you, hypothetical reader, that was
Yeah.
that story of
No,
the
I liked
pyro
Red
from
versus
TF2.
Blue. Oh, the pirate. Yeah, that was actually really funny. I thought, but I mean,
Like those guys have made a ton of shorts. You know.
oh, are the other ones good?
I don't
I've only
know.
seen that
Yeah,
one.
they have.
I think
They're
really
not
what this
making-
is doing
they're
is
not rolling money.
answering the question of what happened to people who didn't get hired back after the writer's strike ended.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah,
It was a pretty eclectic group. One of the guys wrote for Coach.
I remember that show.
Yeah.
That show was on after shows I wanted to watch.
Who's
in
that? Craig T.
syndication
Nelson?
Craig T.
when I was in high
Man.
school.
And Dick Van Dyke or Jerry Van Dyke.
Jerry Van Dyke,
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, Coach was always that show that was like between the two episodes of The Simpsons on
Right,
syndication.
and now episode of
At like
Coach.
7 p.m.
Yeah.
Yeah.
6:30 Simpsons, 7 Coach, do your homework during this half hour. 7:30 The Simpsons.
I used to watch Coach.
It ran for 9 seasons. And I know this. Never mind. I don't know why I keep bringing that up.
He brought
It's
that
an
up like
interesting
4
fact.
times during the break.
It's crazy. It started like 1989. Like,
That show ran till 1998.
You run coachfan.info.
yeah.
Oh man, we have
Speaking of .info,
Yeah.
Redirect.
we have
it's a seg.
2 brand new. Yeah, it's a great seg. We have 2 brand new URLs. One of them is wonderboner.com. No, .info.
Wonderboner.info.
Wonderboner.info, which is
It
really
bones fish.
amusing. It bones fish, yeah. If you listen to Tube Edcasts, I couldn't decide whether to say
Tube
episode or
Edcasts.
I couldn't decide whether to say episode or podcast.
It's an Edcast.
Edcast. Edcast 11.2. The most baffling combination of syllables you'll ever hear. Hey, we talked about the Wonder Boner a couple weeks ago. And so one of our forum guys registered wonderboner.info. Do you guys remember who it was?
It might have been Pancake Humper.
I think it was.
Go to,
I think Pancake Humper, yeah, who also brought us 8bitcock.com.
So he's got a theme going there.
So this is a good dude. And then the other one is it goodseg.com?
Something like that, yeah.
Or nice seg. I'm going to go check. You guys talk
It's
while
good.
I'm
No,
doing
it's
that.
good seg.
Good
I
seg?
remember it.
Yeah, it's
Do you-
good
Do you
seg.
remember who registered it?
I never had that information.
Okay.
You're a guest.
I'm going to go check it out. You guys keep talking.
Well, that's a stupid thing to do. It's just say, hold on, I'm going to go to my computer during this podcast. I'll be right back, guys. Hold up.
Thumbs. I don't know. Maybe we should all just start screaming into the microphone so Chris can see this in the waveform. Boost!
So,
All right, yeah, all
We're
right.
going to now cast the pod into your face.
so I just went and checked up.
I forgot about that slogan though right now, sorry.
Yeah, it's a good slogan. I went and checked up on the URLs, and there were 3 new URLs. These actually were ready last week, and we forgot to mention them on the podcast. So we got goodseg.com, seg with our weird.
Apparently that's a
I guess
segue.
that's, yeah.
Like, transitioning.
Now on our podcast, that's what it means. And GotY.cx was created for us by Soupface. Yeah, it's spelled good and then SEG, in case you're wondering. He's got the phonetic.
That's a weird spelling for soup face.
Hey! And he's a new forum registrant, so welcome to that guy. We have wonderboner.info, Bonesfish, thanks to Pancake Humper.
Click on it. It's a really funny redirect.
It is really funny. And he's registered stuff for us before, so thanks, buddy. And then finally, we have riprollickingride.com from Erky. So there we go. A new slate of URLs to add to our...
Where does the Rip Rollicking Ride come from?
It's just...
Did you guys refer to a game as being that?
The Idle Thumbs UK podcast was
that
declared a Rip Rollicking Ride.
That was the first Rip Rollicking Ride, and I think it's come up once more since then. I don't remember.
That's often enough to get a goddamn domain out of it.
Hell yeah. Sweet. You fucking know it. So thanks, guys.
Yeah.
It's amazing to me that we, for some reason, have a readership that just like buys us URLs.
Well, you guys started it.
I know, but I mean, I didn't necessarily expect.
Did we? StrategyChocolate.biz.
Oh no,
was the
we didn't
first
start
one,
it. Yeah,
and that was not us. Yeah.
Oh, so you guys didn't buy VG.com.
We did, but that was
We
weeks
bought
after
that
the first
was
one.
well after Explode Mode and
okay.
Strategy Chocolate existed.
Yeah,
you guys didn't make Explode Mode. Oh, okay. I thought you did.
No.
Oh,
Nor
wow.
Strategy Chocolate.
Nor 8-bit cock.
Yeah. Anyway, it's pretty awesome that this happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, so yes,
Epic amount of redirects.
Yeah.
Good work.
Yeah.
They get a lot of good Segway enthusiast hits.
You mean seg?
Yeah.
Because it's not even spelled like.
That's like a seg enthusiast.
Yeah, it's not even spelled like Segway. It's literally just truncated.
SEG.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good seg.
All right. Anyway.
I mean, like the machine.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to come to our website. The Wonder Boner, though, hopefully we get the people who are looking for Wonder Boners.
And Wonder Boners.
Because it bones fish. And Wonder Boners.
Oh man, I saw that infomercial for Wonder Boners. There's their website? Is it wonderboner.info? Let me try that
looking
first.
for information about it. So that's what the .info people are hoping and praying for every day.
Wait, maybe it's wonderboner.tv. I saw it on TV.
Maybe it's wonderboner.museum. That exists, right? Maybe there's a museum. Man, maybe now someone will register wonderboner.museum.
They would probably have to register as some sort of museum.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, oh well. If you do that, that would be amazing. If you create a
Your new challenge is to get us a .museum TLD that points to this site.
There's no... Is that actual?
Yeah, it is.
.museum
yes,
probably
there's
exists.
a .museum.
Are you for real?
I'm for real. I am for real, Steve. Hot Scoop Gaynor.
If there isn't a .museum, we apologize. .name will suffice.
I've never seen one that was more than 4 characters, like info.
It might be Musey, but I'm pretty sure it's museum.
You know, Musey.
I remember seeing like the press release a couple years ago where they're like, you need this if you have museum because everyone's going to be typing it in. Like, I don't think so.
Just put a .com after whatever.
Yeah.
It's actually the people who own museum.com.
Like, I mean, because I'm pretty sure if you
which
told,
is CNET probably.
if you had your museum guide tell someone, oh yeah, find us at New York.museum, like so they would just go and put a com at the end.
So you mean www.newyork.museum.com
or newyorkmuseum.com?
Right, that's like a dash, New York dash museum.
Right.
Idle Thumbs .museum.
The com. Museumcom.com? Idlethumbsmuseumcom.com?
GotY.cx.
Whoa! Nice seg. So one of the things...
Press the stop button on your iPod now.
So basically the main way that we're going to use all the stuff you guys sent us for Free Game of the Year is actually putting it up on GotY.cx. And by the time you hear this, that might have already happened or started to happen because... we recorded this 2 weeks ago, as you know by now. So maybe the website already has stuff. But what we are going to do is read some excerpts.
This is a message through time.
It is. It's crazy.
Something might have already happened.
It's like a magical time. So, yeah. These are just some of the things that people wrote in about some games. I'm going to start off.
Should we explain what's going on here?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. I mean, for those of you who might not have known, we decided to have we decided that GotY.cx would be a hilarious name for a Game of the Year awards,
and therefore we decided
to have Game of the Year. We didn't really know what that entailed, so we just told people to tell us what their Game of the Year was or a notable game from this year and why it was cool. There was no real structure. I don't think there's any sort of actual thing. going on. But GotY.cx.
We wanted to hear what your game of the year was.
Yeah, we wanted to hear from you.
So people wrote in, and now we're gonna see what some of our readers' games of the year picks are.
Yeah.
.cx.
.cx.
So get ready.
So we're going to start off with an Idle Thumbs classic. You might have heard of it. It's called Far Cry 2.
Wait,
what?
Did that come out?
I think that came out this year. I think it was a game of this year. Yeah. It was a multiplayer game that came out as a DS exclusive.
I don't think I've heard of it.
Was that from the makers of Far Cry?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, what does this
Gears
reader
of
have
War.
to say? Oh.
Yeah. This reader says, Far Cry 2, perhaps the most authentic gaming experience I've had in years. At every point during this game, I fully believed I was a dude looking for the jackal in whatever way I thought was best. There were certainly some frustrations, e.g. getting run over by a random dude in a Jeep driving to a spot for 6 to 15 minutes, but the rest of the game transcended those frustrations. And actually, earlier in this email, Derek pointed out a big deal for him this year was authentic gaming experiences. That is, something within the game experience resonated on a certain existential level, i.e. he believed his actions truly reflected some aspect of himself. And so his other games of the year were Silent Hill Homecoming and Left 4 Dead, which he also found to sort of exemplify that.
That's cool.
Yep. Let's see. Moving on. I'm just flipping some... Steve is making weird faces.
You're shuffling.
Yeah,
you're
You're shuffling into the mic. You can tell he's poring over your entries, dear readers.
Judging you.
Yeah, we highlighted some like little brief excerpts. We're going to print these more in full on the website. But
Probably.
So here we go. Brian Ellis suggests Mother 3. He says, it may not count, but there's a lot that can be said about it. He says, in a year of disappointing, fairly bland next-gen JRPGs, this game quietly had an unofficial release, referring to the fan translation. And I honestly believe that much like Earthbound, this is a game that years from now, people will still recommend, regardless of whether they care about the narrow niche that JRPGs have become. So that's cool. I actually kind of want to play this. I haven't, because it's got that whole fan translation thing going. I don't know if any of you guys...
Yeah, I downloaded it. And I patched it, and I entered my name and then never played it again. But I mean,
that wasn't what I was looking for.
You were able to comprehend the name entry screen, though.
Well, no, it appeared to be a full translation and quite well done.
Yeah, I've heard that it's good.
Yeah,
That's cool.
Hold on, wait. Am I going to be arrested now?
The GAF police will arrest you.
Oh,
I'm sorry, buddy.
I have no other way to acquire this.
Acquire what?
The game.
What?
So I
He's
downloaded
talking
it.
about game piracy.
Oh, shits.
Pirated ROMs.
Oh, man. All right. So Matthew Gangles Gallant.
I tried it. I thought it was neat.
I believe you.
If they actually released it here, I would buy it in a heartbeat.
One heartbeat.
Yeah, exactly. Cha-ching!
So, Matthew Gallant writes, No More Heroes. I thought this game was fantastic. It never stopped being surprising. It managed to top itself at every turn with a new wacky minigame, over-the-top boss battle, or ridiculous Wiimote implementation. I agree. That game was really fun.
Yeah.
It came out like a long time ago at this point.
Yeah.
Relative
February, I guess. January,
to the
February.
year. Yeah. But
It would be on my personal list of goaties.
of GotY's.
Yeah. Yeah,
I enjoyed
it was one of my favorite gaming experiences of the year for sure.
I actually did for Gama Sutra a list of top gameplay mechanics of 2008.
Did you list the charge mechanic? Charge mechanic?
I gave that. I made a special section actually of
Things
amusing.
To make you look like you're whacking off.
I had sort of a just general humor category in which I put that as well as sort of just like butt slapping each other in Army of Two. So.
Wait, which I was listening to the podcast, and as someone who played all the way through the Army of Two campaign with a friend, I will note that butt slapping did not ship.
Yeah, but there was like the fist pounding.
There was dap.
Yeah, there were the daps. So that's
hit me, bro.
There
and
you
then
go.
you would do a little fist punch.
Yeah,
for sure. And there was also air guitar, and you could sing to each other. This is not. I'm not shitting you either, because one of the guys' names was Salem, and the other was I can't remember the other guy's name.
It's weird.
Huh?
No.
I think it was like
he
his last name.
declares it weird.
But if you were the other guy and you went and did your encourage action, sometimes it would roll him going Salem, 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 like singing an ode to him.
It is so weird to me that game got made.
Weird. I don't know. I mean, co-op shooter.
I know
you can
it's just funny.
encourage one another.
Yeah.
They could also discourage one another, and it would randomly do a die roll between headbutting the other guy, punching him in the nuts, or like slapping him in the back of the head.
Sweet.
Video games.
Video games, indeed.
That's one.
So next up, we
It's
have
only one of them. There wasn't that
Civilization
many.
Revolution on the DS. Civilization Revolution on the DS managed to do what I thought was impossible, a portable version of Civilization that was very true to its roots. It sucked me in just as badly as any PC version before it. And he talks about spending months in a foreign country where he didn't know anyone and had no internet access, and he basically played this all the time. So that's cool.
Instead of interacting with a real foreign country.
Oh, snap.
What?
So that's Mike Nowak, which he notes is pronounced Nowak. So next up, we got Burnout Paradise.
Man, hold on. I didn't mean that as a burn, so let's...
You didn't mean an extreme burn as a burn.
I think it's
I
funny.
just burned that guy, but I didn't actually, burn.
I'm so hardcore that I burn people by accident. Booyah.
I have no idea the actual details of that guy's circumstances in a foreign country. Fuck you.
Maybe he was imprisoned.
Maybe he was in prison and all he had was a DS and CivRev. It could happen. Who knows in those crazy foreign countries?
Did any of you guys play Civilization Revolution on the DS?
No. I played it on the 360.
Yeah, I only played it on 360 as well. I heard the DS was really good, and
Yeah,
they didn't
it's
really
the
cut
same game.
anything. Yeah, they didn't really like
I heard that
lose
from
anything.
Nowak.
Oh my
That too.
god!
I mean,
Is that true?
according to like developers, it was actually literally the same sort of kernel that they just had a different presentation layer.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they could pull that off. That's cool.
Well, the presentation layer on the actual menus and stuff on the 360 were Flash based, I believe. So they kind of just layered it on top.
Yeah.
All right. So next up, we got Burnout Paradise. I'd never played a Burnout game before this, but I tried the demo and bought the game the next day. Since then, I've logged 400 hours in the game with DLC queued up for well into next year. I'll be playing this for a long time to come. It's a game that I would describe as a platformer, but your dude just happens to be a car. And that is Mark, a.k.a. Mar from NeoGAF.
That's an interesting characterization
of
the game. It's probably. I mean, I played the demo. It seemed like it was probably kind of true. You're trying to ramp to get up to higher places and stuff, but you're driving a car around to do that kind of stuff.
I would say a more extreme version of that description would be either Trackmania on the PC, or Grip Shift on Xbox Live Arcade. Oh, yeah, both of which are super fun. I thought. Mm-hmm. Grip Shift is like a hilariously.
Grip Shift, but
it's fun. It's so specific
I played Trackmania,
at what it does. Yeah, it's not dissimilar. It is dissimilar, but it's not. That you can describe them both in that weird platforming way.
You both go on like extreme tracks, and
like
launch
flips
your car
all the time, like spinning around and shit.
Yeah.
Grip Shift is ridiculous like that. It's one of those games where it's like, it's like, this is a weird reference, but if you guys played, what was the GameCube Advance Wars spinoff? Battalion Wars?
Yeah.
It's like the vehicles in that, where the physics is just ludicrous and you can bounce around and shit and you'll always land with wheels down.
I never played that.
It was kind of fun.
Why would it have physics? Advance Wars? What?
Well, it was a 3D spin-off of Advance Wars.
Oh, it was
made by
it was like an action.
It was like it was sort of like from an action perspective, but you could still command. It was real time. It really didn't have anything to do with Advance Wars, other than that it was sort of a cutesy war.
Cute war.
Cute wars.
Yeah.
War of the adorableness. Destroyal.
Merrick Braunstring writes.
Wow, look what you did.
It's okay. We know that guy. We can poop on his head. Metal Gear.
He's very tall, though. It'd be difficult.
And we will. This is GDC.
Yeah. So. Oh, he has a question. This wasn't even a game.
So watch out for that, Merrick.
All right.
Oh, no. He says, I would vote for LittleBigPlanet for its light integration of user creativity and sharing with gameplay. I would love to see, for example, a shooter or strategy game where you can create your own basic levels and upload to the game's central servers where people can start playing it immediately instead of people releasing separate mods or maps. I mean, yeah. Warcraft 3 seems like the kind of thing where that could theoretically have existed, like in an alternate universe.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what?
Or any Warcraft.
Yeah, but I mean, Warcraft 3 has like really spawned a huge mod scene. Yeah,
crazy.
Well, like Dota, all that stuff.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, Dota song. There have been some games that have tried to have the user-generated map upload thing be more integrated than like Warcraft 3, which is more like using the tools and stuff.
Yeah.
But I can't remember. I mean, what, Bangai-O Spirits? Sort of like
that game. does a crazy thing. Are you guys familiar with how that game works?
No.
When you save, when you save your game in that, it creates like audio, and then
an audio file,
audio file, and you play that audio file, and then the game like interprets that data and generates the level based on it.
Yeah, you play you save your game and upload it to the internet, and then your friend plays that sound and holds their DS microphone up to it.
Oh, crazy.
And it listens to the sound and then translates the map that way. So you can upload a user map that you made as like a YouTube video, and your friend can just hold it up to the speaker and press play on it.
I mean, it's sort of really simple technology, but it seems like the future because it's so crazy. Yeah. It's such a weird thing. It's like this is magically going into my system.
I mean, it basically if I heard the sound on like their demonstration
like
video,
a fax machine or something.
Yeah, it sounds like a modem connecting, sort of. But yeah, and they also had a really.
I mean, it's how a modem works. It's it's what it's doing.
But they had an awesome
the phones with serial whistle.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Exactly. It's like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that.
Did you see the totally sweet like super lo-fi explanatory video that Atlas made for that? Because they published that game.
So, no.
Yeah.
I know they published
their US office made this really like totally sweet like late 80s corporate training style video with just like awesome. 4 of their localization staff or whatever just got together and we're like, here's how the game works, and then there would be like a big star wipe or whatever, and then they like had a weird little script, and they kind of it was like one of those whatever leaked Wendy's training videos that you've seen on YouTube, but to explain how this sound transfer tech worked. It was great.
That's really pretty good. Alice is cool. It's funny.
Alice is really cool.
They're awesome. Yeah.
I mean, I can't say that I am an enormous customer of theirs.
Exactly, yeah.
But I love that they exist and what they do, because they just publish all these little weird tiny
They have a great sort of mandate.
They announced the game today. It's
2 weeks ago.
Word.
Yeah, all right. This is old news. It's called like the Dark Spirit or something. It's
Dark Spire.
Dark Spire, yeah. It's made by Success. And
I love those Japanese companies. Create Success.
Yeah. And it's
Nude Maker.
Also them.
Yeah. But just very briefly, it's a first person RPG, but you can actually play it 2 different modes. You can either play it in the modern mode, which is sort of like, fairly detailed graphical presentation user interface, or you can play it in like the classic mode, which looks like,
an Apple II GS.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What kind of game is this?
It's basically
it's not like Dragon.
It's basically like Wizardry. It's like Wizardry 5. Yeah. It's like a first person dungeon crawler.
Yeah.
That you would see on the Apple II, and it would just basically be like 4 lines going in forced perspective away from the screen,
they
and then a dragon sitting in the middle of it.
And Odyssey also.
Exactly. Yeah. And the thing is, it's awesome because it can be like, okay, we know you were a fan of whatever, playing Wizardry on your shitty computer in your bedroom when you were 10, but you don't have to deal with all of our fancy graphics. You can make it look like it's on 20-year-old hardware. It's all white text on a black background.
Because when it was announced, I saw they had like a comparison screenshot, and I was like, modern classic. I was like, is this a remake of a game that was already out? Like, a long time
it's like remake. I was like, Matt Hazard.
I was like trying to find like the Apple IIe Dark Spire site or something.
Yeah, I mean it's sort of in the vein of like Mega Man 9 or whatever.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Where it's like we're gonna make a game that could have been released back then.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Is that genre like really popular with Japanese people? Because there's a lot of those made in Japan.
It is weirdly, like Wizardry specifically.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard about this whole thing, but like the guy who originally,
I know of the Wizardry games,
right,
obviously.
But I don't know this guy's name because I'm ignorant. But the guy who created the Dragon Quest series, that's the Japanese title for it, right? As opposed to Dragon Warrior, or do I have that backwards? You know what I'm talking about.
Well, they're all called Dragon Quest now.
Yeah. So the guy who originally created Dragon Quest back in the 80s or whatever, like he sort of discovered Wizardry back in like 1981, like one of the original versions of it, and really really loved the first person dungeon crawling, and he based Dragon's Quest on Dragon Quest on that, like the 8-bit versions or whatever.
Oh, crazy.
And basically Wizardry and games that are just like it have a huge following, like I guess huge, like devoted,
relatively
niche
speaking,
following,
right.
in Japan, and they've actually continued making additional Wizardry games in Japan that haven't been released in the States because
they're actual Wizardry games.
Yeah, because a developer over there acquired the Wizardry license after fucking But what was it? SCI or who?
Yeah,
or Strategy First or whoever.
No.
No.
God damn it! I feel like an idiot for not remembering, but I know exactly who you're talking about.
The guys who made and published Jagged Alliance and stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
SciTech. Yeah, there you go. There you go.
And
Snappy Gamer.
So yeah, after those guys went out of business, a Japanese developer acquired Wizardry, and they've continued to make those games over there because they have this like really loyal following. It's crazy. And other games like Hetery and Odyssey are basically filling that niche as well. And then Atlas weirdly publishes them in the States.
Yeah.
And it's like some crazy recursive shit going on.
Yeah.
And that's why I think they're cool.
Man, look how informative that was. I feel so informed.
Yeah, information was passed.
I'm filled with information.
Is that GotY?
That's the GotY.
The Dark Spire is GotY.
What?
Cool, I'm glad we agree.
Dark Spire is Idle Thumb's GotY 2008.
Hell yeah.
What?
Jake was apparently sleeping for the last 5 minutes.
What's the Dark Spire?
I don't think that's the game of the year.
Jesus, you're dead. You're a dead person.
I'm dead to you.
Yeah, well, and just physically.
Well, if you're gonna shit on the Dark Spire like that, yes, you are.
I'm gonna shit on the Dark Spire.
Are you now?
GotY.cx.
Oh, there might be a Photoshop of Jake shitting on a Dark Spire.
Wow, there will not be that ever. Yeah,
this podcast is completely unfurling. I don't even know, and I forgot to turn on the timer, so I don't even know how long into this we are, or anything.
Nobody wants us to stop talking. They download this so they can listen to us. Let's just keep going.
Fuck yeah, man. So this is kind of off topic, but
you're going.
I was thinking the other day. I forget who I was talking to this about. Jake, actually. I think we were talking to you about yesterday, maybe about sort of just like as I've gotten older.
2 weeks ago?
I mean, 2 weeks ago minus a day. Yeah,
plus a day.
Plus a day.
I'm sorry.
Jeez.
Our readers will definitely know that distinction.
Okay, whatever.
Kind of as I've gotten older, for some reason, I seem to remember more games that I played like when I was younger, which seems like a really stupid thing.
Like Stargoose.
Stargoose. I don't think I ever know what you're. What the hell's Stargoose?
I was talking about Startopia at work today.
What is Stargoose?
It's some CGA PC space game where you're a ship that's called the Stargoose. No, why would I
remember there was like
Stargoose?
Space Hen or whatever, like in Space Quest, like the game within a game
No.
that you always played in the arcades.
Stargoose is totally different.
Yeah, I know. What was that game? I don't remember. Steve knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. You might have just said it correctly.
Space Hen.
Space Hen.
I don't. It was not Space Hen.
Anyway,
I was just gonna say, for some reason, I had this weird phenomenon of remembering all these PC games I played when I was younger that I just haven't thought about. Jake is looking at me through this.
No, I wasn't looking at you.
All right.
Go.
Like, that I just haven't thought about since I actually played them for the first time. And you guys don't know, what is going on right now. Everyone who isn't me is, ducking around their microphones and shit. I don't know what is going on right now.
Just tell your story.
You're making the story terrible.
You're making it terrible.
No one cares
that we're
weird.
ducking around.
And one of the games I remembered playing for the first time in a long time was Dino Park Tycoon.
I played that.
Yeah, wasn't that fun?
That was great.
It was awesome.
That was a great game.
It was it was like the classic tycoon kind of thing, and
Game
you'd
of the
hatch
year.
dinosaurs out of eggs and set up the different pens with different animals in them, and you'd have to manage all the concessions and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Also good was Jurassic Park Genesis, which was
It's like an isometric thing, like top-down isometric,
I played that.
right?
I played
Am I wrong?
I played the isometric. I was trying to think about that.
I'm saying I
Wow.
remember it.
Yeah.
I was
I'm trying to
I
describe
played
it.
that too, and I couldn't remember what it was. I was like,
Yeah.
wasn't there a weird Jurassic Park game that wasn't first person or anything? It was yeah.
Anybody
But-
play True Lies on the SNES?
I definitely didn't. No.
Anybody play the Ghostbusters for the Commodore 64?
No.
Is it the same one as the Atari 2600?
What happened in that one?
It said Zool at the top of the screen the whole time.
yeah.
Really bad graphics.
And the keys were getting closer to the word Zool.
Yeah, it was crap.
And then when it got there, you had to go underneath the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man's feet, who was jumping in front of a door.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's really, really great.
Man, did you guys see the Guitar Hero clone that a dude made for the Commodore 64?
Yeah.
No.
It's pretty hardcore.
Wow.
It actually plays the SID files, like with, and he made custom made an adapter that allows you to plug in a PS2 Guitar Hero
Wow.
Controller into it.
That
Pretty
sounds
crazy.
like an extreme human being.
Yeah.
Well, to like make a hardware adapter and program Commodore 64 software.
Yeah, it's pretty hardcore.
Probably in the scene.
Yeah. Oh, so anyway, about Dino Park Tycoon.
What
So
kind of scene?
that was
Demos, you know.
that's not what the demo scene is.
Chiptune scene?
Kids these days with their Commodore 64s, their guitar toys.
Yeah.
What the
I
hell
mean,
do you need
serious
color
shit.
graphics for? I did.
I remember one time we were at
black and green.
Thumbs, goatee.
Dino Park Tycoon and Dark Spire.
Yeah.
So anyway, back in the day, like I used to play Dino Park Tycoon with one of my buddies. What are you shaking your head
You're
for?
still on
This is the
Dino
story.
Park Tycoon.
You just keep interrupting me. What do you want me to
Enough. No, whatever.
do? So
game.
I was playing it. It was super awesome. It was really fun. And I actually kind of want to play it now. But anyway, so we used to
Hey, they
play it
got
all
on
the time,
Steam.
and then
We got time.
I at a certain point moved to like a different town, and like years after we were best friends. Like when we actually lived in the same town, went to the same school, and we used to go to each other's house and play computer games and stuff. And Dino Park Tycoon is one of the games we played all the time. And we'd hang out. This was like
Dino
do all the
Parks.
stuff kids do too. We'd play around outside and whatever.
Yeah.
So anyway,
You're a normal kid.
Yeah.
We all believe you.
Right, but I'm just
But you
I'm just
also
setting it up.
played Dino Park
We also
Tycoon,
played
your
and
secret.
So the next years
You also
later.
spent weeks grinding the last puzzle in Indiana
No, that was a
Jones.
totally different guy.
Oh.
And so, sorry. And so I like went back and like years later, I was in that town again for some reason, and I went back and like met up with this guy whose name was Matt, and we're like, oh man, it's so good to see you. Crazy, I haven't seen you in like a long time. And we just kind of stood around and like had nothing to talk about at all. Like it was the most awkward, horrible. It's like so.
And then you realize
I think
the
I've got a
acorn-
copy of Dino Park Tycoon in the back
No,
of
it
the
was like
shelf.
no, it's like it was way worse than that. It was just like we sat there, kind of like looking at each other for like a minute, just like going like, yeah. So, how's it going? Still living here? Yeah, cool. Hey, remember? Hey, remember like when we used to play Dino Park Tycoon? Yeah, man, that game was fun. Yeah. Yeah. So, played it at all since then? No, not really. Sweet. Well,
Man.
It was really weird. That was like the only thing we could think of.
Butt pats
that, like,
were
we
cut
still-
before this story shipped.
It was a really surreal moment. Like the only thing I could remember to bring up that we had in common was Dino Park fucking Tycoon. It was really strange and surreal. I haven't played it since then. I should go back and play it.
Great.
Well, the story would have been like 20 seconds long if you guys didn't like draw it
Hey,
out.
I know that
for like
feeling.
15 minutes. Yeah, I know. It happens to all of us.
You were gonna say the best of us, but then you
I was
realized
gonna
you
say,
would've
but I
been
realized,
referring to me.
yeah. I couldn't give you that distinction.
No, don't deserve it.
No.
So is that is that all of our goatees?
Yeah. Well, there are a lot of goodies. We're gonna put them up on the website.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
Do you guys have a personal game you would consider your goatee if you were to enter this goatee of the year contest?
It's a good question.
For me, it was Fallout 3, hands down.
Yeah, Steve, I know you'd agree.
I'd made up my mind.
Yeah, I would have to say that Fallout 3 was the game experience of the year for my own personal, time spent. Yeah. What about you, Jake?
I spent most of this year in a hole and only sort of started buying and playing games again once I started doing this podcast. So I'm just an asshole developer who doesn't play games.
Well, when the video game light particles flew out and hit your eyeballs, which were the ones that you liked the most?
I really
When you stuck your
The
head
video
up out of the
game
dark
police are
hole
coming
and
to
you
take
saw
you
a
away.
video game, what was the one that you thought was cool the most?
Steve, don't do this to me.
Was it Braid? I hear you can rewind time in that game.
Right now, I wish I could rewind time. Do you ever wish you could rewind time?
Man,
mean
Jake
like in
is
Braid?
not receptive to things right now. Jake wants to go back to his hole.
My
at this point.
favorite video game is Sleep.
That sounds
Aw.
pretty awesome. That's like one of those cool 80s simulators
That's pretty
where you've got to, like really dial into it.
But I mean, of the few games that I played this year, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I really haven't played much besides Braid, Left 4 Dead, Little Far Cry
Planet.
Little Far Cry Planet, Theft Auto 4.
You did play all of
3.
those. I know this to be the case.
Anyway, I don't know. I like games.
Cool.
I'd say-
Jake's game of the year.
I'd say my
Games.
my goatee would
It's like
be the
Time
internet.
2006.
Ah.
Yeah, it is like, there you go.
You are readers.
Whatever. If Time can do it, so can you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess if I really had to pick one, I would probably go with Fallout 3 also. And then I would give a sort of special mention to Far Cry 2. I would.
Idle thumbs.
I guess I'll just end it there.
What? That one. But not that one.
What?
Video game.
Hey, you son of a bitch! That was not a sound effect. Well, it was, but it was from an ass.
Any sound
That
effect
was
Chris
not a
makes
sound
is from an
effect.
ass.
Well,
Get it?
Well,
if you want to really
I
get-
just produced it with my
That was
butt.
a burn. Did you hear it?
Yeah, I caught the burn.
You're the one who's like, I wish that could be anally produced or whatever. Like,
I did want to from a butt.
I can't believe you're recording 3 podcasts this week. That's preposterous.
Well, we can bullshit forever. Time it was.
managed to shit out 3 full podcasts this
I just said that when you were shitting out of food.
I was not shitting out of poo. It was urine.